Hello, y'all. It's Brian here. Welcome to the Chung and Lou podcast. It's Chung here. Lou isn't available right now, and people are wondering where have we been for the past few months. No, we didn't disappear or anything like that. Although some people might have, if you're a hardcore Chung and Lou fan. No, we've had a lot of obligations in terms of life and stuff like that, school, work, typical normal human being life as a person in this world, right? So we have stuff to do and haven't had a chance to do more of the Chung and Lou podcast. Want to do more of it definitely this year in 2025. We've been off for like 2 or 3 months and really want to get back into it. Every Sunday, we usually meet up on Sundays. But whenever we don't get an opportunity to do it, it just kind of irks me a little bit. I don't know. It always feels weird not meeting up on a Sunday with Lou and just having a blast, having a good time, just talking about whatever comes to our mind, anything cool, anything fun, preferably fun. I don't want to talk about issues that are dividing the country like politics. It's whatever. I mean, whatever you feel about politics, you can feel about it. But personally, we really like talking about it. And plus, it's just not in our interest, anyways. We don't talk about other things that excite people, entertain people, and I hope we do a good job on that on the episodes that you guys have watched before or are starting to watch. That's much appreciative. And anytime you guys have feedback, you want us to talk about something, we'll definitely talk about it. And it's just a lot of fun to talk to Lou personally because we go a long way back in middle school all the way until now in our adulthood. We're almost in our 30s. I know that sounds really old if you're a younger fan. I mean, I remember when we first met in the 7th grade, and now we're all up to this point in 2025. It's just cool right there, and I'm always glad for the friendship and hopefully business partner that I have in Lou, and hope to keep it up for a very, very long time. This is going to be titled State of the Podcast Address. Paul, you guys have seen him in many podcasts. He's been in a lot of episodes. Shout out to him, definitely. He gave us the idea for this episode title. And yeah, I'll try to babble on for at least 30 minutes. I don't know if I can get to quite 30 minutes, but we'll see what that leads us to. So, some things to talk about. I would say let's talk about some good things. The Super Bowl, always fun. Well, in this case, it wasn't really fun. This was pretty a boring Super Bowl where Philadelphia won by a lot, 20-plus points. It probably could have been a blowout even more, but Kansas City got a touchdown or two at the end. Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia defense just absolutely dominated Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes and company just could not get anything going. And as a 49er fan, that definitely makes me happy. So congrats to the Eagles. That's not the team we were rooting for either, but if 49er fans had to choose which one we would rather win, I mean, I would love to be like Christian McCaffrey and say neither. But, Eagles, they get their revenge from their Super Bowl from 2 years ago. And maybe one day when we play the Chiefs again in the Super Bowl, we can get our revenge. We haven't quite gotten that spot yet, but hopefully we can get to there eventually. Hopefully in 2025. 49er talk a little bit. Brock Purdy, as of this recording, getting some contract talks with the 49ers. Hopefully getting a nice big contract. It's going to happen. It will happen whether you agree with it or not. But I think most 49er fans are in agreement that we should pay Brock Purdy a lot of money. Yeah, let's just say a lot of money because he's going to be demanding a lot of money. And, after the Trey Lance debacle that we've gone through the past few years, trading all those draft picks to get him and not working out, to have Brock Purdy just land in their feet and play really good football for the past 2 to 3 years. Very impressed with that, and he really saved Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's job, honestly, because if it didn't work out with Trey Lance and they weren't going to be good, then yeah, they would have been shown out the door, definitely. So yeah, got to be appreciative of Brock and what he's done for the 49ers so far in the past 2 to 3 years. Some of the things to talk about, what else to talk about? Just travel plans. I already went to Texas during the Super Bowl week, trying to make that a tradition to see my brother and other family as well. That was a lot of fun there. Some other trips to plan. Maybe summer can go to Salt Lake City. Always wanted to go to Salt Lake City. I know I don't really hear that city being talked about on a place that a lot of people want to go to. When you talk about touristy places in America, you hear New York, California, Boston even, Florida, Orlando. But Salt Lake City, I don't really hear too many people unless it's ski season in the winter. But I like to go during the warm season and nice hikes and stuff like that. So hopefully can make a trip there very early summer. Some other trips to look forward to. What else? I'm not 100% yet. Last year, I had a new destination I went to, Denver, Colorado. Definitely enjoyed that, definitely. Salt Lake City's a little similar to Denver, I think. I'm not 100%, but we'll see how that is if I end up going there. Some other things to talk about. Just the podcast. Hope you guys didn't think that we disappeared or anything like that. I miss you guys. Lou misses you guys. We all miss you guys. And hopefully you missed us. And we're still here for the long game. And I hope you guys keep tuning in as much as possible for whatever episode we have in and out. Try to talk about stuff that entertains you guys, stuff that is very recent news, whether good or bad. So hopefully you guys stay tuned to that. And that's always much appreciative from you guys, definitely. And for any new listeners listening to this, happening to find this podcast randomly, thank you so much. Hope you guys stay tuned in the long run as well. And yeah, I mean, we always talk about why we wanted to get in this podcast business, and it's really popular right now. Everybody has a podcast. You talk about like The Undertaker, WWE, he has one. A lot of celebrities, everybody is doing it. It's a lot of fun, and I can see why a lot of people want to do it. And maybe we did get a little bit of inspiration from those guys. Well, I mean, I think those podcasts, we done it way before they ever wanted to do it. But like Pat McAfee, he's like the mastermind of our inspiration on why we wanted to do this kind of stuff. And it's a lot of fun just talking about good old times, good times, bad times, stuff like that, especially with Lou, who I have a long history with since middle school. I know that sounds really crazy right there. We've known each other since middle school all the way until 2025. That is just ridiculous right there. And I'm always appreciative of him. Lou, if you're listening to this, love you big time, man. And hopefully we could do great things on this podcast for now and in the future. And, I know this is a long-term goal, but make this a career. That would be an awesome thing right there. And I also have my 49er channel. I'd love to make that a career as well, man. That would be just the coolest thing ever, honestly, to have that. And I feel like life would be accomplished, in my opinion, if I could do that kind of stuff. And having Lou's help definitely on this podcast, that would be just the most wonderful thing, especially doing it with a person you have a pretty good history with, in my opinion. Some other things to talk about. Just the future of things we want to do in this podcast. We're still talking about just random things. I don't know if we're going to get into niche yet. Lou was talking about, should we talk about something in particular? I don't know yet. I mean, if you guys have any interest, you guys want to hear anything from us, I mean, we talk about almost anything on this podcast, maybe except politics, because one, I don't know, it's just kind of, and also we're not really that interested, to be honest with you, to talk about what's going on in the world of politics. We'd rather talk about things that are more exciting and that are not depressing, honestly, because politics, when people talk about it, it's not really fun, honestly, to hear people talk about it. So that's just our stance right there. We could talk about almost anything else but politics, and yeah, there you go right there. Let's see, some other things. Love to get more guests into this podcast. I mean, Paul has been our big, staunch supporter of our podcast. We've had him in a few episodes. We'd love to have even more guests as well. I mean, Paul's always going to be a staple, a recurring person on this podcast. Paul, shout out to you, definitely. Some other people, some friends, family, stuff like that. Anybody's welcome to the podcast. Celebrities, maybe one day. I mean, that's another big goal of ours for this podcast, is to do great things, talk about cool things, maybe make a difference in an entertaining way. Hopefully can make your day as well, and be real as possible as well too, because as much as we talk about stuff, if we have to get real, we will definitely, and we will never stray away from that. I always try to do that on my YouTube channel as well, but I'm a little bit more formal there. This one I could be a little bit more loose and just talk about whatever I want and however I want, and just love doing that kind of stuff for you guys and anybody listening, because it's always cool to tell people that you have a podcast, but hopefully one day in a year or two we can make this even a bigger thing, and we can hopefully take off and just have a blast doing it as well. So yeah, I mean, very ambitious goals, I always say about this podcast. I know we've been doing it for a few years now, hopefully to keep growing even more. Haven't been getting a lot of viewers on the podcast, even though we really haven't made any podcasts in the past few months. But hopefully we can come back to that as soon as possible, and just wanted to make this update for you guys, because maybe some of you guys thought that we disappeared, and it just feels weird not talking about anything for weekends that we don't meet up in our lives. So yeah, there you go right there. Let's see. Anything crossing my mind as well? I don't know, just kind of a state of the podcast address. Just wanted to talk about where things are right now in our podcast 2025. Hopefully we could do more, as I always say. And, big dreams. That's all I got to say. Pretty much big dreams. We do talk about sports. We talk about life going on right now, travel plans, because I'm a big traveler. Credit cards, I'm a big credit card supporter. Stocks and stuff that we own in terms of assets, because honestly, If you really want to look up what we have in public assets, you can look it up if you really wanted to stalk us or anything like that. So we talk about that as well. Remember, anything we talk about, that kind of stuff, financials, that is not financial advice, is just for entertainment purposes only. So please do not take it as financial advice. This is just our experience. Your experience might be different. So I always got to stress that every time we do that kind of stock update or real estate or any assets, investment stuff that we have in our portfolios. So yeah, there you go right there. So want to do more about that. Always want to talk about that because we want to relate to the regular people. We're just regular people like you guys as well. You viewers, you listeners listening to this, we're on the same boat. We're not celebrities. We're not super rich people. We're not, maybe not yet, but as of this moment, as of this recording, we're just normal guys trying to get through life as well. And I hope that we can relate to you guys. A lot of people a lot of celebrities and stuff like that can be out of touch, honestly. And even if we ever get big in the next few years, hopefully we can still keep the same down-to-earth guys that we are right now. And yeah, if you guys listen to this and a few years later we're famous and we're a bunch of dicks, then yeah, please call us out on that. But we're hoping that we could still stay the same people as much as possible, be real, be kind, all that stuff. And that's really what we're trying to do. Just bring joy, bring happiness, talk a little bit, maybe have a loud mouth a little bit. Lou's not a big fan of Kentucky. He always says F Kentucky. Never been to Kentucky personally, but he has his passion as well. We always want to just share it with you guys, and we always hope you guys definitely enjoy it. So yeah, I'd love to make this podcast longer. My buddy Lou's not here right now. My co-host, my guy. Usually, if it's me and him and even Paul, this could be an hour-long podcast. But since it's just me, it's a little sad. That is just me. It just feels incomplete doing a podcast without him. And I'm hoping that when we get back together, we can talk about just whatever we want for at least 30 minutes. We try to make these podcast episodes 30 minutes. Maybe if you guys have a drive, a commute, or you're just working out or listening to anything, you guys can just listen to us. And hopefully we can blabble about just random things in life and stuff like that. And maybe go back to our childhood as well. That's something that we've been doing in this podcast as well, going back to our high school, middle school days. Maybe if you're one of those demographic, you guys can take experience from us, good or bad. We had good experiences. We have bad experiences as well, but hope you guys take the good lessons and not the bad lessons and learn from it. And yeah, that's also what we've been doing in this podcast as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode with me. I know it's a little bit unscripted, just random blabber. I don't use notes or anything like that. Lou and I, we just talk about bullet points, and then if we go on to talk about something completely random, that is just complete freestyle right there. We're really known for that, and in this one in particular, I was just all over the place, and that's usually how I like it. I usually don't like a script or anything like that. I prefer to just keep it as real as possible, make it genuine, and we're going to make mistakes. We're going to say, we're going to say, a lot. I probably said that like 100 times in this one. Take a shot, right? If you hear me saying, please don't. That was just a joke right there. But anyways, there you go, you guys. I'm going to end it right here, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Lou, hope to see you soon. Paul, you're always welcome as a guest, and anybody that's wanting to be a guest, always welcome as well. And hope to catch you guys up in the next episode where Lou can be involved and we can talk about cool things and stuff going on in this world, and also just our experiences of high school, college, adulthood, all that cool stuff. And yeah, we'll catch you guys up then. Love you guys as always, you guys, and I hope to see you guys later. Bye, guys. Chuck and Lou.